Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, I'd like to remind media on the phone that you may press *1 at any time in order to ask a question. That's *1 at any time to enter the queue. The question and answer portion will take place after today's remarks. I will now invite Minister Baer to speak. Minister, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm joining you from the territory of the Katzie and the Kwantlen First Nation in my home in Maple Ridge. And I'd like to introduce the people joining me for today's announcement. We have MLA for North Island, Michelle Babchuk, MLA for North Coast, Jennifer Rice, Christine Smith-Martin, Executive Director of Coastal First Nations, Stefan Wolizinski, CEO at City West, and Dr. Heather Alexander from the Bamfield Marine Service Center. Each of you has a unique perspective on what connectivity means for coastal communities, so I want to thank you all for being here. Today, we're here to talk about the exciting investments in high-speed internet that are coming to coastal communities this year. Fast, reliable internet is more important than ever, and in fact, we couldn't be here virtually today without it. People need reliable internet access that can keep up with their busy lives. And for too long, people have struggled with slow, unreliable internet speeds along BC's coast. And that is why I'm so excited to share the news that's going to make a real difference in people's lives. Today, I can tell you that the Connecting British Columbia program is approving more than $10.5 million in grants to improve internet speeds on BC's coast. This means people in places like Zabalos and Quadra Island and Bella Coola will soon see improved internet speeds and reliability. And people benefiting from these projects are members of several Indigenous communities as well, such as the Haida and the Newhawk, the Yahadasat, and the Kalhoos nations, and a number of other coastal communities. As I mentioned, we're joined by Stefan from City West, who's going to tell you more about the work that they are planning. And there is more good news. City West is one of the proponents behind the Connected Coast project, and we're expecting construction on the $45.4 million project to begin this summer. Connected Coast is an ambitious project involving First Nations, communities, service providers, and all levels of government. And like you, we at the province are very eager to see this work move forward. Connected Coast will change lives by bringing fiber optic internet speeds to rural and Indigenous communities along the coast. And the City West projects we are announcing today will eventually connect to that fiber. These projects are part of our commitment to ensure that everyone in British Columbia has access to reliable, high-speed internet. Improving connectivity for rural and Indigenous communities helps strengthen their economy and unlock new opportunities. It means an innovative tech company can set up shop in a community like Skidegate and do business with clients all over the world. This is how we build a strong economy, one that creates good jobs throughout the province. And it's no coincidence that becoming stronger together requires us working together and to put people first. And that's exactly what coastal communities have been doing to achieve their connectivity goals. So I'd really like to introduce now my friend, MLA for North Island, Michelle Babchuk, to say a few words.
Hi there, I'm Jennifer Rice. I'm the MLA for North Coast. Often get confused with North Island, but nonetheless, North Island and North Coast, we work in partnership together. So thank you, Minister Baer. My name is Jennifer Rice, and I am the MLA for North Coast and BC's Parliamentary Secretary for Emergency Preparedness. I'm speaking to you from the territory of the Tsimshian First Nations today at my home here in Prince Rupert. Now, I've had the great opportunity to get to know so many people living in the North and Central Coast and Haida Gwaii communities. As North Coast MLA, I hear a great many perspectives from people about life on these shores. For example, I've been to the search and rescue base in Masset, and broadband investments can help improve our emergency response in places like Haida Gwaii. Connectivity can be so important in a fast-moving situation. It enables responders and communities to send and receive alerts, coordinate resources for a response, and develop a plan and recruit volunteers to help. As a search and rescue volunteer myself, I know that moving quickly in an emergency can save lives. For coastal communities, many of which can only be accessed by boat or seaplane, a reliable internet connection can make all the difference. And if you'll indulge me, I would like to share a little anecdote from 2017 when we inherited the governing role in the midst of the worst wildfire season in BC's history. One of the first briefings I received was about the threat to a tower and technology equipment near Williams Lake. A fire was encroaching, and I was informed that we could lose all phone and internet connection to Bella Coola. So that was from Williams Lake and all the Highway 20 communities in between to Bella Coola. Now, thankfully, that potential crisis never materialized. However, had we had the Connected Coast project in place, we would have had built-in redundancy and a backup plan to prevent any loss of connection and any loss of emergency communications. Today, I want to say thank you to everyone for your work to help improve the lives of people in British Columbia. Investments in coastal connectivity will help make our communities even safer, while making life in coastal areas more accessible and bringing us closer to our neighbors across the water. I want to thank you, and I'd like to now introduce my colleague and strong connectivity advocate, MLA Michelle Babchuk.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's fantastic to be here today and so great to see this coming to fruition. So hello to everybody out there who is joining us virtually today. My name is Michelle Babchuk. I'm the MLA for North Island, and I'm honored to be joining you today from the legislature on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking people, which includes the Songhees and the Esquimalt First Nations. I really want to say thank you to everybody who's helped make the investment in coastal communities come to fruition. So many people in my constituency are looking forward to the Connected Coast project. It brings such great benefits to the North Island, whether it be just in connecting to government services, telehealth, distance education, emergency management BC, or to be able to create those economic diversification portfolios for those smaller communities that are trying so hard to transition through our new economy. You know, struggling with those download speeds and unreliable connections has been the norm for people on the North Island. So I think that they are going to be very happy to see what have been able to be achieved here. It's great to see the fiber coming and approaching the day when everyone on the island and throughout the coastal region has the connectivity they need, as well as the redundancy that Parliamentary Secretary Rice has talked about. It's been great working with City West to upgrade all of this infrastructure. And I just want to give a quick shout out because this initiative started many, many years ago as a priority of the Strathcona Regional District. Because they recognized through all of their small rural and remote communities and island communities that as we move forward that this infrastructure was going to become problematic. So a shout out to Brad Unger, who is currently the chair of the Strathcona Regional District, CAO David Leach, who has carried the ball on this, and to the directors, Nova Anderson on Cortez, Jim Abram on Quadra, and of course, Mayor Julie Colburn in Zabalas, for pushing this project as hard as they can, and not to mention our First Nations partners in our riding right now who are going to benefit from this through the Hattesat and the Klahoos First Nations. Once this fiber is laid, these projects will help people to, like I said, do lots of things, including business opportunities and the download speeds that they need to be able to look into the future. With that, I would like to hand this off to our next speaker, Christine Smith Martin, and thank you again to everyone for joining us today. These projects do not happen without collaboration and the joint effort of everybody at all levels of government. And today's news goes a long way to showing how we can achieve things when we work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Minister Bear. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself as the new Executive Director of the Coastal First Nations. I come to you from the Nisga'a Nation. My name is Christine Smith Martin. I am Haida and Tsimshian Nation. Coastal First Nation is a unique 8-member alliance of First Nations communities that live in British Columbia's North Coast, Central Coast, and Haida Gwaii. Member communities are Wekino, Heiltsuk, New Hulk, Kitasoo-Xexi, Gitga'at, Gitga'atla, Metlakatla, Haida Gwaii, which includes Old Masset, Skidegate, and the Council of Haida Nations, representing approximately 20,000 First Nations people. Coastal First Nations is recognized as a world-renowned stewardship initiative that embedded in our communities. This supports the building of a conservation economy through the Great Bear Rainforest. Key connectivity priorities that support nation-led job creations with specific coastal First Nations priority areas, such as guardian watchman programs, land and marine stewardship, shellfish, aquaculture, carbon offset, climate actions, forest management, education, health, and cultural revitalization. We are globally recognized for our stewardship leadership and carbon offset programs as we protect the Great Bear Rainforest while building an inclusive conservation economy. One of the key areas of focus since taking this new role on is to support the expansion of connectivity through our nation's territories. We are working hard to ensure Coastal First Nations gain access to affordable and reliable high-speed internet to bridge the digital divide. Connectivity also supports the preservation of our precious Indigenous language, digitally capturing them so that we can share them with our future generations and those yet unborn. This work is an important step in achieving government's commitment to true, lasting reconciliation with Indigenous peoples and part of BC government's commitment to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. This project will ensure the coastal First Nation communities have access to technology that they need to participate and thrive in the digital economy is a key strategic focus for me. Coastal First Nations communities hold the keys to transforming BC's economies and well-being to the future. As our communities along the Central Coast, North Coast, and Haida Gwaii get connected through the high-speed internet, opportunities will begin to emerge in the BC's ever-growing digital arena. There is a wealth of cultural wisdom, prosperity, and world-renowned stewardship leadership that will accelerate our member nations' collective vision in building a conservation economy while protecting our environment. As connected nations, we look forward to working with the province to create a better future for our next 7 generations. With that, I will turn it over to Stephen Walzen.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Minister Bear, MLA Babchak, and MLA Rice for your support. And thank you for giving me the opportunity today to speak on behalf of City West. I'd like to thank the province for having the foresight to see how necessary it is for these underserved areas to get fast and reliable internet. We've known that the internet has become a necessity in people's lives. And this idea has been reinforced as we've engaged with residents and leaders across multiple communities, including Haida Gwaii, Bella Coola, Burns Lake, and the Strathcona Regional District. Internet connectivity issues are getting in the way of people's ability to earn their livelihood, to connect with their loved ones, and to manage their lives. As more people have transitioned to working from home during this pandemic, and as more students required online access to learn their course material, it underlines how important internet has become in the functioning of our everyday lives. For that reason, and together with our partner, the Strathcona Regional District, we're undertaking the Connect to Coast project, which will provide backbone internet to 139 communities, including 48 Indigenous communities up and down the BC coast. With today's announcement, we'll be able to utilize that connection and provide urban-like last mile connectivity services to the announced communities today. Those of us with good internet probably take a lot of things for granted, like having a FaceTime conversation with our loved ones, or the ability to operate our businesses seamlessly, or even just relaxing and streaming a movie. If you live in an underserved area, however, those simple things are taken away from us. Now with this announcement, people in these communities will be able to do all those things, and they'll also get improved access to telehealth, online learning, or the ability to grow their business through e-commerce. I'd like to acknowledge all the community leaders we work with who have partnered with us as a social enterprise and supported our way of doing business, which is focused on delivering the public good. They have elevated connectivity to be top items on their community agendas, and they have worked hard for their communities to deliver them the internet that they deserve. We're looking extremely forward to building the infrastructure you have asked for, and we look forward to serving you for years to come. Now it gives me pleasure to introduce Dr. Heather Alexander, University Programs Coordinator and Communications Manager for the Bamfield Marine Science Center.
Thank you, Stefan. So the Bamfield Marine Sciences Center is a world-class teaching and research facility located in Barkley Sound on the outer west coast of Vancouver Island. We're situated in the traditional territory of the Huu-ay-aht First Nations, with whom we partner on a number of projects. Our mandate at the BMSC is to provide research and education infrastructure for scientists and students towards enabling life-changing exploration and discovery in the coastal and marine sciences. We're a nonprofit organization owned and operated by 5 Western Canadian universities, universities of British Columbia, Victoria, Alberta, Calgary, and Simon Fraser all work collaboratively together to run this Marine Sciences Center. We have been operating continuously since 1972 and will be celebrating our 50th anniversary next year in 2022. But being a field station, it has always been about experiencing firsthand the spectacular West Coast environment, including unique coastal, marine, and rainforest habitats and exceptional species diversity. However, during these pandemic times, shifting to alternative remote forms of educating students has never been more important. We have worked towards adapting our education and research programs to accommodate COVID safety protocols, as well as promote economic recovery in our remote coastal community. We have been offering unique learning opportunities that connect and engage directly with our clients online, for example, our BMSC Live series, which has allowed us to remain operational during this time. So overcoming connectivity limitations will help us achieve our education goals and keep students engaged and keep our Marine Sciences Center open. Because we are remote, many groups cannot travel here. And so looking to the future, we expect to continue with online educational opportunities. Improved internet access will be instrumental in bolstering our research capacity to study climate change predictions in fragile ocean ecosystems, such as the diminishing kelp forests and eelgrass beds that are challenged by stressors such as increasing ocean temperatures. So we are really looking forward to taking advantage of the emerging technologies that rely on connectivity infrastructure. So thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers today. A reminder for reporters on the phone, please press *1 to enter the queue. That's *1 to ask a question. You will be limited to 1 question and 1 follow-up. Please also remember to take your phone off mute. You will not be audible until your name is called. Before we move to questions, I'd like to ask our speakers to briefly pose for a photo. This should just take a moment. Thank you, everyone. Now we'll move to the questions. Our first question today is from Joshua Azizi at CFTK TV. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I just had a really quick clarification question. I was just wondering, with this new funding announced to improve high-speed internet, what specifically is it going for? Is it just going to be used to build the new infrastructure, like the fiber cable that was being talked about, or is there going to be kind of other uses for it as well?
So thank you, very good question. So the funding we're announcing today is part of the $90 million Stronger BC intake. And so the projects we're doing and announcing this afternoon are really those last mile projects. The Connected Coast project, the laying the fiber optic on the seabed floor, is a project, is not part of this, but these last mile projects need to connect to that fiber optic cable once it's laid. So once it's laid, you can flip the switch, turn it on, and these communities will have high-speed internet service. So that was that Connected Coast project was all levels of government as well as City West participating for funding for that as well. So they're all interconnected. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that gives me a pretty good idea of it. So it's money that's going to create cables that will connect to the larger fiber optic cable for all the communities along the coast.
Essentially, Stefan, do you want to say it maybe more in technical terms so that it's explained correctly for us?
Yeah, so the funding that's being announced today is connecting us to the Connected Coast project, but ultimately what it's doing is it's bringing fiber to the home, so to the residence itself. So the Connected Coast project is an undersea fiber optic cable that literally runs past communities, and the funding announcement today allows us to be able to script fiber through the communities into that undersea project and connect fiber to the home.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that clears it up.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stefan.
That's all the questions we have for today. This will conclude today's event. So thank you, everybody, for joining.